Greetings, friends, and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I use nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your vitality and health and well-being, into addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body, you are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health issue. That's why we're here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 29 years of practicing pharmacy, I've seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes and hypertension and obesity and skin diseases like acne, psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds, recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle. But what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure? Because the human biological system, the human body is a healing system, a regenerating system. It is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that healing, renewing, regenerating system a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health or nutrition or prescription drugs, we welcome your calls on The Bright Side. Our number is 844-236-6010, 844-236-6010. If you have questions about the longevity supplements, about health challenges you or a loved one may be dealing with, if you want to get off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we can help you do that. If you have a success story you'd like to share, or if you want to contribute to the conversation, likewise, we'd love to hear from you. 844-236-6010 is our number today and every day on The Bright Side. 844-236-6010. Try to call in early so we can get to as many calls as possible. If you're interested in purchasing any of the longevity products you hear advertised on the program or recommended on the program, please go to brightsideben.com. You can order products right off the website. You can also go to criticalhealthnews.com or pharmacistben.com. Those are my blogs, which we update regularly with news stories as well as blog posts. And you can order products right off the website there as well. You can also sign up to join the Brightside Ben team off any of the websites, criticalhealthnews.com, pharmacistben.com, or brightsideben.com. And if you're interested in purchasing any of our Truth Treatment products or Truth Skin Health products, you can go over to truthtreatments.com and take a specially long look at our retinol 5% gel. No preservatives, no fragrance, no waxes, no surfactants. It'll last you 6 months if you use as directed, and your skin is going to look awesome. Not because of me, but because of retinol. Actually, not even because of retinol, because the skin is designed to look awesome. If you give it the raw materials that it needs, including vitamin A in its retinol form and vitamin C for that matter, your skin will do its business on its own. And that means looking good. That means less wrinkles, less dark spots, less acne or no acne. Check out all the Truth Treatment products at truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. Okay. We're talking hormones, and we're going to talk about hormones now for probably for the next couple of weeks. They're so important. Next to the essential nutrients, the enzymes and the hormones are the two most important. Well, I'll say the enzymes and the hormones are the two most important biomolecules. The essential nutrients are important to get in the diet, but as far as what the body makes, it's the enzymes and it's the hormones. Those are the two most important chemicals in the body, biochemicals in the body, the enzymes and the hormones. And problems with both of these categories of biochemicals, enzyme issues, deficiencies in enzymes, as well as hormone problems making hormones, problems detoxifying hormones. These are big health issues. In addition to micronutrient deficiency, hormone health and enzyme health and hormone deficiency and enzyme deficiency are big factors when it comes to disease and when it comes to less than optimum health. So we're going to talk about hormones, what they are, how they work, and what we can do to improve hormone health for the next few days. There's so much silliness. There's so much nonsense when it comes to lots of things in terms of health that we get from the mainstream. But when it comes to that word hormones, there's so much misunderstanding that is perpetuated by the mainstream medical model, by the mainstream media, unfortunately by alternative healthcare practitioners as well. So in the interest of clarifying this muddy and confusing subject, here's a few bright side tips. Bright side key points from about hormone health. For one thing, you want to be very careful about trying to improve hormone health by taking them as drugs, even if they are so-called bioidentical, which doesn't exist. That's just marketing jargon. And in my opinion, there's no place for marketing jargon when it comes to our health. This is so egregious. I know we live in a capitalist society. I'm a capitalist myself. I don't have a problem with that. But when it comes to our health, to make health supplements or health chemicals or health strategies commodities is just not fair. To pollute good health and the concepts of good health and the ideas of good health with marketing and with advertising is rude. And we see this every night or every day on television with cartoons and with animated figures and celebrity endorsements telling us about the drugs to take. Got Arnold Palmer and Kevin Nealon and some race car driver whose name escapes me telling us to be on this powerful blood-thinning drug, Xarelto, as if we should be taking health advice from Kevin Nealon or from a race car driver. Why? Because they're celebrities. And this commodification, this advertising that's associated, this marketing that's associated with medication is so unfair. And nothing speaks egregiousness, nothing speaks rudeness more than the marketing of these powerful chemicals called hormones. Hormones are amazingly powerful. When I was compounding hormone creams in my compounding pharmacy, which I hated doing, by the way, especially estrogen cream, I would use microgram doses. If I was off by even 10 micrograms on an estrogen cream, I could cause side effects, obvious side effects like jitteriness or cysts or nodules, and less obvious effects, likely cancers, because cancer is caused by excess amounts of estrogen. If I was off by even a grain, like just picture a grain of salt, that's probably about 5 or 10 micrograms. That's probably about 5 micrograms. If I was off by that size amount in a month's supply or an ounce jar of cream, patients would get side effects. These things are ridiculously powerful. Even the microgram amounts that I was formulating, a microgram is a millionth of a gram. That's like taking a teaspoon of hormone, dividing it up by 5 million times. Can you picture this? This is the amount of estrogen that I would have to put in an ounce of cream. And I was off by a little grain, a tiny grain of salt. The size of a grain of salt, we could cause side effects. But even that amount, even that millionth of a gram amount is humongous compared to the levels of hormones that float around in the blood. The reason we didn't really know about hormones until the early to mid 20th century is because we didn't have the detection devices to spot them. They're in the blood. First of all, they're in the blood only quickly, temporarily, for blips, fractions of a second, and then they're deactivated. That's how hormones work. They're active for fractions of a second, and then they're deactivated. So when you take a hormone as a drug, now you're swamped this deactivation system with the amount of hormones that are in a drug that's thousands upon thousands of times greater than the amount that's in the blood. And they're staying in the blood longer. This is the biggest problem with prescription hormones like estrogen, like Premarin, which is estrogen. These are fake versions of hormones, and the body doesn't clear them out anywhere near as effectively, and this is what accounts for toxicities associated with prescription hormones. The levels of hormones that float in the blood, though, those are ridiculously small. We're talking trillions of times smaller than a gram. They're measured in parts per trillion. Can you imagine this? A part per trillion is like a drop of water in 6 miles of railroad cars. That's the kind of concentrations we're talking about, that these things are active. And they're ridiculously powerful even at that infinitesimally small, unimaginably small concentration. Then you take a prescription hormone, you completely overwhelm the body's hormone detoxification and hormone processing system. But you don't need to take hormones. You don't need to take prescribed medication hormones to improve your hormone health. That's the good news. You can upregulate and support your own hormones at home from the comfort of your own living room. I'll tell you what I mean when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. All right. Well, we We are back on the bright side. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central Time, 24/7 on our archive pages at brightsideben.com. Also, Ben Fuchs Archive, benfuchsarchives.com. You can order longevity products off both sites. You can also go to my blogs, criticalhealthnews.com, as well as pharmacistben.com. Thank you to John T. Collier and Robert Lundgren who set those up. You can also sign up to join the Brightside Ben team right off of the websites, or you can call the Brightside Ben phone team at 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470. Our number today, 844-236-6010, 844-236-6010. We do have lines open. Please try to call in early, and we'll get to as many calls as we can. Hate leaving people on hold. If we've left you on hold in the past, tell our call screener, and we'll put you first up. Okay, so we're talking hormones and hormone health. You don't need a prescription drug to improve hormone health. Hormones are super, super, super powerful. When you take a hormone as a prescription drug, you're taking thousands upon thousands of times the amount that's in your system, that's in your bloodstream. Hormones are measured in the blood in parts per trillion, which is unimaginably small. You can't even picture what that's like. Yet they're so active, they are the most active and most important biomolecules in the body, along with the enzymes. But you don't need to take hormones as drugs to improve your hormone health. You don't need to be prescribed estrogen, or even for that matter, progesterone, or thyroid hormone for that matter either. Hormones are in our control. We control our hormones through three major routes, through three ways, there's three things we can do. There's three roads to access hormonal health and to support hormonal health, if you will. Our thoughts, our feelings, and our food. Yes, every thought you think gets converted into a hormone. If anybody ever tells you they don't believe their thoughts create reality, explain to them this link of between hormones and thoughts. We think a thought, we make a hormone. Period. It's as simple as that. We think a thought, we make a hormone, and from that point we make our bodies. Thoughts, hormones, bodies in that order. Crappy thoughts, crappy hormones, crappy body. This is not some airy-fairy kind of hippie new age idea. This is just biochemistry. You think a thought, you make a hormone. Ladies, if you're going through menopause and your estrogen is dropped, think sexy thoughts. Think fertility thoughts. Think youthful thoughts, and your estrogen will go up. Your fertility hormones will go up when you think fertility. Now, I'm not saying that you can go from being infertile to fertile just by thinking, but you can absolutely upregulate your growth hormones, your fertility hormones, your healing hormones, your happy hormones by thinking along those lines. And for that matter, the opposite is true too. The reverse is true. You will think stress hormones into activity. You will think stress hormones into production. And that means a body that's not absorbing its nutrients. That means a body that's not digesting. That means blood pressure changes. That means blood shunted from your creative centers in your brain to your reptilian brain, just by thinking via this hormone connection. Feelings the same way. Emotions are linked to hormones, which then create your body. Did your healthcare professional tell you this? This is just flat out biochemistry. This is not my opinion. This is not some kind of spiritual new age talk. This is Biochem 101. You think a thought, you make a hormone. You feel a feeling, you make a hormone, for better or for worse. And then the third element where we control our hormones, or the third element that controls our hormones, is our food. It's our thoughts and our feelings and our food, and you could probably throw in respiration and breathing into the mix as well. Between thoughts/feelings, and I always consider thoughts and feelings to be two sides of the same coin, so we'll call thought feeling. Every time you think a thought, a feeling is associated with it, and vice versa. Between thought/feeling and food and respiration, you've got the major control points for our hormones, and we control those control points, not your doctor. This is so important. This is so empowering, you guys. This is where we have power over our health. Our thoughts, our feelings, our food, and our respiration. This is such good news. If you are dealing with a chronic degenerative disease, this should be so exciting. It means whatever way your body is falling apart, via this hormone connection, we have control. You can fire your MD, as my friend Peter Glidden says. Fire your MD. When we finally nail this thing down, there's going to be a lot of unemployed doctors. There's going to be a lot of unemployed specialists. There's going to be a lot of specialists who have to drive a taxi or do something functional in our society and actually help us out. To control our hormones, we want to work with the kind of foods we eat, the kind of thoughts we think, the kind of feelings we feel, and how well we are respirating, how well we're ventilating. Your doctor hasn't told you this because, number one, he doesn't know it, and number two, the drug companies, which is where doctors get all their information from, aren't going to tell them. They can't make money. Can anybody make any money by our thoughts and by our feelings and by our respiration and by our foods? No. When we finally nail this thing down, if we ever nail this thing down, the ticking of our health is going to be so dramatic. Can you imagine this? There can be a point that can be reached in our culture where we don't have to deal with degenerative diseases when we finally understand that it's all in our control. Another aspect, another factor when it comes to hormone health is fats. And this is especially true when it comes to our reproductive and stress hormones, which require a healthy liver for their production. The liver is the key organ when it comes to hormone health. The gonads are important, obviously. The testes and the ovaries, they're very important, and so is the adrenal glands. But nothing is more important than the liver, and we got 100 million Americans with fatty liver disease. How do you think that's going to impact hormones? The liver detoxifies hormones. Remember, hormones have to be active for only a blip of a second, a fraction, a nanosecond. And the liver is supposed to clear hormones out. If you have a fatty liver problem or your liver's off processing drugs, statin drugs, hormone drugs, it's not going to have the wherewithal to purify hormones, to clear the body of excess hormones. And that could be big problems because these things are potent, especially the growth and reproductive hormones. All of these hormones require a fully functioning, firing on all cylinders, fat absorption, fat metabolism system. And that means also we have to be able to extract our fats from our foods, especially our essential fatty acids, and oh, by the way, our cholesterol. All of these hormones that we're talking about, all of these youth and vitality and fertility hormones, and even stress hormone, cortisol, and vitamin D for that matter, are really cholesterol. They're disguised versions of cholesterol. We say, cholesterol is a raw material for these hormones, but that doesn't really say it. That doesn't really give you a feeling for what we're talking about here. They're all cholesterol, literally, with a little bit of a tweak. They're cholesterol with a little tiny twist, if you will, but they're basically cholesterol. And this is another reason why you want to stay away from statin drugs, another reason to eat your eggs, another reason to eat your cholesterol-containing foods, your organ meats and your dairy. I just did a video, by the way, on Critical Health News about cholesterol. We've covered a lot of these ideas here in the past on the program. You probably heard it. But the fact of the matter is, get this, the more cholesterol you eat, the less cholesterol your body needs to make. How do you like that? The best way to lower your cholesterol is to eat eggs. The best statin drug, the best anti-cholesterol medication is eggs, at least in terms of the cholesterol your body makes itself. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. We'll be back right after this. We are back on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll get your calls here in just a moment. And we do have a line open for you if you want to give us a shout, 844-236-6010. On our next program, we'll talk about yet another way to improve hormone health, another obvious way to improve hormone health in addition to respiration, thoughts/feelings, two sides of the same coin, and the foods we eat. Those are the major control points when it comes to hormones, especially around fat. When it comes to foods, fatty foods and fat absorption, fats are so important when it comes to hormone health. So is cholesterol, for that matter. These hormones that we're talking about are cholesterol. In large part, you have two kinds of hormones in the body, or there's probably a few others, but two major ones. You've got the protein-type hormones. They're called peptide-type hormones, and then you have your steroid-type hormones. And your steroid-type hormones are all versions of cholesterol. And this nonsense, this crazy biochemical idea that cholesterol is the enemy and cholesterol causes heart disease. This is bizarre. If you understand biochemistry, it would be very hard to come up with a more multifunctional, more important molecule in the body than cholesterol. And there's no good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. That's more marketing baloney, gibberish. Good cholesterol, bad cholesterol. Tell any medical professional ever talks to you that way, he's either infantilizing you, talking to you like you're in kindergarten, like our bad guys, good guys idea, bad cop, good cop idea, axis of evil, the bad guys, the bad chemicals, the good chemicals. That's the way they talk to us like we're children. There's no bad cholesterol. There's no good cholesterol. It's just cholesterol. The good and bad refers to the direction that they're moving in the body. If it moves into the liver, they say it's good. If it moves out of the liver to be used, they say it's bad. That's really what it is. And by the way, HDL and LDL aren't cholesterol. They're high-density lipoprotein. That's what HDL is. High-density lipoprotein. Do you hear the word cholesterol in there anywhere? No. And LDL? Low-density lipoprotein. Do we hear the word cholesterol there? No. These are bubbles that carry cholesterol through the blood, and they associate them with the amount of cholesterol you're making. Because HDL, they say, oh, well, your HDL is high, your HDL is low, supposedly. If your HDL is low, that means you're not moving as much cholesterol into the liver. How do they know, by the way, HDL is this ratio or this proportion of HDL to LDL or this amount of HDL or LDL is good for you or bad for you? Statistics, numbers, actuarial processing, the way insurance companies determine how old you are when you're going to die and how much you should pay. We're not statistics, people. We're biochemicals. We're not numbers. We're biology. And in terms of biochemicals and biology, the biochemistry and the biology of cholesterol, it is unbelievably vital stuff. And by the way, more marketing for you. It was the vegetable industry, the vegetable oil industry, that promoted this nonsense about cholesterol causing heart disease. And at the same time, vegetable oil being heart protective. And guess who jumped on board right away? The American Dietetic Association, the American Heart Association, and the government, and the American Medical Association. They got on board really fast with it. And I don't know how much money they got paid to get on board with it, but whatever it was, it didn't take them very long for the AMA to agree that, oh yes, it is cholesterol that causes heart disease. This is just retarded when it comes to understanding chemistry. All right, so there's one more way, in addition to your foods and the foods we eat and thoughts and feelings and our respiration or our ventilation that affects hormones. And we'll talk about that on our next Bright Side episode as we continue talking hormone health. And then we'll talk about a few things that you can, oral supplements that you can take. They're not nutritional supplements. They're dietary supplements that you can use. And one in particular is very, very helpful. We've talked about a lot on this program. Super relaxing, super calming, very important if you're dealing with seizure disorders or depression. We'll talk about that on our next Bright Side episode as we continue talking hormone health. Okay, 844-236-6010 is our number. Let's go to Illinois. Welcome Rick to the Bright Side. What's up, Rick?
Good morning, Ben.
Good morning.
I was listening to one of your archive shows from November 2012, and you were telling a caller on that show that sometimes to diagnose a problem, you have to plot dots, and as you start to connect the dots, then a picture begins to emerge.
Yes.
And what I'd like to be able to do...
Did you get that? Did that make sense to you when I said that? You collect the dots, you connect the dots, or collect the dots and then connect the dots. Makes sense, right?
And so what I do to kind of facilitate that is I keep a health log. And if something's bothered me, or something hurts or aches or something like that, I make a note of it. And what I like to do is I like to take 30, maybe 60 seconds, just throw a bunch of dots at you here.
Sure.
And see if a picture emerges.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay. On August 27th, I'm just going to start from...
You don't need the dates. Just give me what's going on.
Okay. I stopped taking a calcium, magnesium complex supplement, and I started taking a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in the water that I take every day.
Okay.
A few days later, I noticed a lump in my throat.
Okay.
Day later, I wake with what feels like a beginning of a sinus infection in the roof of my mouth near the sinus cavity. Began to feel raw. I still had a lump in my throat. As I move on, as the days pass, I have a new sore.
Is this starting a couple years ago, did you say, or is this recent?
I'm just going from beginning on August 27th. a month and a half ago. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so you drop the calcium, magnesium, you replace it with apple cider vinegar. A couple days later, you notice a lump, and then you got a sinus infection. Okay, anything else?
Yeah, I don't know that I had a sinus infection, but now I'm up to September 6th. I have a new sore on the inside of my lower right lip. The next day, I have another new sore on the inside of my lower right teeth, and the roof of my mouth is tender. 4 days later, I start a daily supplement of L-lysine, and I take my first probiotic supplement. The following day, I take my first digestive enzyme supplement. Now I'm going to move forward to September 16th. I start to see what I thought were pimples on the right side of my neck.
I don't need all the specifics like this. The mouth, you're starting to get canker sores and pimples inside the mouth, and this is a couple days or a couple weeks after you started the apple cider vinegar. That's what I'm getting.
Canker sores have been a long-running problem.
Got it.
Half the time it's from biting inside my mouth while I'm chewing. Sometimes they just appear. But then, what happened then is by the 19th of last month, I developed a really bad rash on the right side of my neck.
Okay. So you progressively... Hang on, Rick.
Sure.
Rick, hang on just one moment, buddy. I want you to see what's happening here. Remember, you have 4 types of tissue in the body. You've got the nervous tissue, you've got the connective/muscle tissue, and then you got the coating. That's called epithelial tissue. All your problems are in the surface, in that coating area, in the epithelia, and they're all located in the mouth area. And what this is telling me is that cells are not growing rapidly enough, or not growing correctly. These are rapid-growing cells inside the mouth, and when you're experiencing either a deficiency in nutrients or a problem with toxicity, the mouth will be the first place or one of the early places where you notice it. So what I'm hearing is there's some kind of either toxicity that's getting into your system, or there's some kind of nutritional deficiency. Now, the fact that it started right away is significant, and I want to know what you were doing in addition to the apple cider vinegar that made the difference. That caused these symptoms to all pile up within the space of 4 or 5 weeks. Hang tight. I'll finish up when we come back from our break. But you want to be focusing, Rick, on nutritional deficiencies and toxicity getting into the body. Hang tight and we'll finish up, okay? And if you're on hold, we'll get to you as well. 844-236-6010 is our number. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back after this.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Okay, we're back on The Bright Side talking to Rick. Hey, Rick, I'm going to go fast with you, buddy, because I got a bunch of calls I want to get to. But let me give you my email, and if you want to have a conversation, I'll be glad to talk about anything you want if you send me an email to ben@ksco.com and put your phone number there. Okay, Rick?
Okay.
Okay, good. So here's the deal. When I said collect the dots before you connect the dots, you're giving me one dot, okay? Those aren't multiple dots. That's one dot. And that is the fact that skin cells, surface cells inside the mouth are not dividing correctly. That's really what's occurring. And the fact that they're not dividing correctly tells me that there's something going on. That's toxicity is getting into your system, especially if you have a history that way, or because both are involved, you have some kind of nutritional deficiency. So the first thing you want to do when you have canker sores in the mouth, for everybody listening, is focus on digestive health. If you have any kind of digestive health issue, one of the first places it's going to show up is inside the mouth. If you have nutritional deficiencies that are compounding it, specifically in electrical nutrients and vitamin C, that'll make it worse. Not so much the fatty nutrients, by the way, although they're involved too, but mostly or largely B complex, vitamin C, and your electrolytes. I'd be pounding the Beyond Tangy Tangerine as well as doing vegetable juices and avoiding anything that causes depletion of these nutrients, especially sugar. It's the same stuff that we talk about all the time. Digestion, especially around the absorption of the B vitamins and the electrolytes and vitamin C. If you have any issues with you're eating lots of sugar or you're getting a lot of toxicity into the blood, you may run into deficiencies on all of those nutrients, especially if you're not getting them. So BTT, pound it. Vegetable juice, pound it. Stay away from sugar. Stay away from any digestive stressors. Relax the body as best as you can. Deep breathing techniques, slow deep breathing techniques, and anything you could do to relax the muscles will also activate the parasympathetic or the healing nervous system. Really, it's all the same stuff. And I'd love to hear what the other dots are too, Rick. So if you want to send me an email, put your phone number in there. I'll definitely get back to you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Okay, Stuart in Colorado, what's up, man? Welcome to The Bright Side.
Hey, Ben.
Hey, Stuart.
We talked a couple of times. I have nasal polyps.
Okay.
And I've been on the 90 for going on.
I can hear something going on there. Are you stuffy, or is that the polyps?
No, I'm totally impacted. I have been for 8 months. I was on injectable steroids 4 times a year.
Don't be breaking my heart here. That's all.
Yeah,
here's what we need to do.
That's what encouraged me, because I know that the steroids really are stimulating my body, and that my body is the one that's really shrinking, but my steroids totally
No, listen. Listen, check this out. This is very fascinating, okay?
Yeah.
The steroid, and you sound like a smart guy, so I want you to work through this with me, okay, Stuart?
Okay.
What is the mechanism of steroids? What do? They shut down the immune system. They shut down the inflammatory system. They're anti-inflammatory. They're immune suppressant. With me?
Yeah.
Okay, so if they give you a drug that is an immune suppressant that is supposedly going to treat your problem, what is that telling you about your problem? It's an immune problem.
I get this, but I just mean that my body can.
No, hang on, Stuart. I'm going to give you an answer here. Okay.
Yeah.
I want you to work with me, though, okay, sequentially. Step number one, they're giving you an anti-immunity drug or an anti-inflammatory drug. Step number 2, what does that tell you? Step number 3, it tells you that you got an immune problem, okay? Now, the immune system is your defense system. So synonymously, if you have an immune problem and you have a defensive problem, you got an offending agent. What is the offending agent is your job. And by the way, as unpleasant as your stuffiness is, I'm sure it is, especially at night, and as unpleasant as the polyps are, you got bigger fish to fry. You got bigger problems.
I have a full-blown autoimmune disease.
I was going to say, there's no way it's just showing up in your nose.
Celiac, so yeah.
What is it, celiac?
I'm a classic celiac.
All right, Stuart, but my friend, you're going to live a short life if you don't get to the bottom of this. And you're not going to, it's not going to be pretty on the way down. How old are you?
8 months pain-free, just taking my 90. So
that's awesome. How old are you, Stuart?
54.
Okay, you got another 40, 50 years going if we can get this thing down, okay?
Yeah, 120 is what Dr. Wallach says.
All right, you got plenty of time. You're a baby, but you're accelerating the pace. So you absolutely have to get to the bottom of what's getting into the blood. Something is getting into the blood through the digestive system. You must get to the bottom of that. In the meantime, until you figure that out, pound the probiotics. Get on the Biolumin Nightly Essence if you're not already, and double it if you are. Eat fermented food like it's going out of style. Make your own fermented food.
Yeah, we have good brewery industry in Denver here that's producing probiotic fresh.
Where are you? Are you in Denver?
Tea and everything. Yeah.
Okay. Have we met?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So here's the deal, Stuart. You absolutely have to get to the bottom of the digestive issues. Until you do that, get on the probiotics as much as you can, fermented foods. Go to the health food store and buy some bacterial starter pack and start experimenting with fermented food. Use the Jordan Rubin Amasai and Swear V and fermented the probiotic-enriched cheese, etc. Apple cider vinegar after all your meals. Coconut oil, anything you could do for the digestive system is key.
Yeah,
and then let me just finish, Stuart. I'm going to have a bunch of calls here. Through the digestive lining, all of your healing nutrients are absorbed, especially zinc and especially vitamin C and especially selenium. So if your intestinal lining is breaking down, you're not going to be absorbing those nutrients. 50 milligrams a day of zinc picolinate are a must-have. And by the way, if Rick is still listening, same with you. Any skin problems, zinc is a must. It's a must for everybody, but especially if you have a skin issue, and polyps, by the way, are a skin issue.
Yeah, it shows very much in my skin. So
it's a skin issue. Okay, skin is not. The cells aren't. It's the same thing that Rick has, except the reverse. His isn't growing fast enough. Yours is growing too fast, but it's the same problem. Okay, and then zinc and vitamin A go together. Make sure you're using 20,000 IU of vitamin A. Healthy start pack must have. I'd be throwing in the selenium, the ultimate selenium, and then the ultimate enzymes after meals, and the Fucoid Z, 3 capsules 3 times a day. Ton more stuff, but that's a great place for you to start. And God bless you, man. Good luck with everything. And please, I encourage you to start right away.
I'm thinking about going on the ketogenic diet or with a ketone.
Fast for a couple days and then start the ketogenic diet. Absolutely, but fast for a couple days. You need a good fast, Stuart. I can hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, man. I'll let you go.
All right. Thanks.
Good to talk. Good to talk to you, Jim in California. What's going on? Welcome to the bright side.
Hi, Ben. I'm a 76-year-old male. I'm going in for a total knee replacement.
You sound good. You
My
sound
doctor
good.
recommended I take a beta blocker called
Okay, let's talk about that real quick.
metoprolol.
Let's an awful drug. Awful. I'm not saying you don't need it because they're cutting into your body, but here's the deal, Jim. You sound good. Are you an athlete or were you an athlete?
Yes.
Okay, I could tell because you sound really good. So here's the deal. What did you do, by the way?
Oh, you mean my knee?
No, what's your athletic? What kind of athlete?
Oh, I swim, jog.
Okay, good. Good. You sound great. Okay. So here's the deal. I'm not going to tell you about to have the surgery or not, except I will tell you, and I'm not saying this is your doctor, but a lot of doctors have a financial incentive to go into the knee. Whether or not you need it or not, I can't tell you, and I'm not going to get into that. However, what you want to do is you want to start to use supplements so that when you get that knee back, when they do the knee replacement and you get out of the hospital, your body is primed to build and repair. Yes, they're going to replace the knee, but they're not replacing the connective tissue that connects it. So you got to grow that. All right, so it's very, very important that, number one, if you have any kind of digestive issues, you eliminate problem foods. Anything that promotes inflammation is going to slow healing. And at the age of 76, even though you sound great, you're going to have slower healing. So you got to eliminate problem foods and support digestive health. Get on the enzymes right away. Get on the ultimate enzymes right away in terms of taking them with meals. It'll help you absorb your food, your nutrients from foods, or help you digest your food, I should say. And then it also has anti-inflammatory healing benefits on its own, which means as soon as they do the surgery, you're going to start to heal. So you want to load up on the enzymes a couple weeks before surgery, and then continuing after surgery with meals and on an empty stomach. Likewise, vitamin K2. Anybody going into surgery would be smart to take vitamin K2 before and after. It will help speed up healing. Tell your doctor you're doing it because they like to know those things, but it's still a good idea whether your doctor likes it or not. Same with vitamin E. Same with vitamin A. And then bone soup. Drink bone soup like it's going out of style before and after surgery. And then make sure you're using your glucogel caps before and after surgery. And always use your Beyond Tangy Tangerine with your glucogel caps. Always do those together. If you want one more thing, the Fucoid Z can help you, especially for helping keep the blood moving appropriately after surgery and improving healing. The beta blockers are just going to dumb everything down. Blocker means blocking. In the case of beta blockers, it blocks the nerves, a class of nerves that feed the heart, which slows the heart down. I'm not sure if they're giving you the beta blockers for your blood pressure or what the reasoning is. That's typically what they'll do. When the heart is weak, they'll give you for some reason, they'll give you beta blockers, which shut down the heart. Jim, I wish I had more time, brother. Good luck with your surgery, and you sound great, so I think you're going to make a good recovery. Just do all those things we talked about. Check out the archives, and you can listen to, you can review the protocol. All right, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for listening, friends. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Check out my websites, brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com, and now truthtreatments.com. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.